What's going on, Falcon fan? This your boy Ricondo coming back at you with another video. So today's Falcon Fan Talk Monday, we're gonna talk about the importance of Raheem Morris' impact in the 2024 season. We all know that um, the Atlanta Falcons hired a new coach. Well, but not really new because he's been here before. A familiar face coming back to be the head coach full time. He was our interim full, head coach back in 2020, but now Raheem Morris here full time coming in, and just want to talk about his impact on the team. We all know the you know up and down tenure of Arthur Smith. We can talk about his success, coming in with the salary cap and things like that, the things he had to work with to get back on the right page with Terry Fontenot, all those things, right? Having a plan that they really was looking forward to trying to implement in year three turned out the way it turned out, and Arthur Smith got let go, right? So we're going to talk about Raheem Morris today and the importance and the impact, what kind of impact he can bring to this team this year and get Atlanta Falcons to the postseason where we're trying to actually, at least get back to the last time we got there was in 2017, the year after the Super Bowl, when we got back to the divisional round against the Philadelphia Eagles. So we're going to talk about coaching today. We're going to talk about Raheem Morris in particular, you know, um, and what kind of impact he can actually just him being on the team, and what kind of impact he can have to this team this year to try to get the Atlanta Falcons back to the postseason where they want to be. So, guys, with that being said, if you have not already, go ahead and please subscribe to the channel. Please hit that notification bell so you know when I drop another video. Please hit the like button so I know you guys out here that I talk about. Then please share my video throughout the YouTube universe so more people can come in and hear me talk about these Atlanta Falcons. So today is July the 8th, right? So we got about 19 days left until the start of training camp. I'm excited. Definitely would try to make my way to the high school and their first training camp tonight. Practice started at 6 o'clock p.m. So definitely looking forward to that. Hope to see some of you guys there. The Atlanta Falcons only have 2 open practices this year because they're doing construction at Flowery Branch. So try to make both of those practices. But these guys, um, season about to start. I know you guys excited. Um, be doing more videos coming up here soon. But just keeping with the summer tradition that I had so far is the Falcon fan talk. We'll talk about a topic, get into it. We can have discussions and things like that, and then we'll move on from there. I'm so excited about it. Um, One quick thing that I want to talk about, and which I thought was interesting, and just goes to show and prove that NFL is king. Um, they made $13 billion in 2023, which is just amazing. With all the TV deals, all the ticket sales, throughout the season, things like that. $13 billion. Each franchise got $400 million. Just think about that. So when you hear about contract negotiations and things like that, and the team, each team just bringing home 400 million extra dollars, and they don't want to pay their quarterback, that goes out there and be a product of why this whole league can make $13 billion is just asinine. So if I'm one of these players and I'm got the contract negotiations and things like that, they need to stand their ground and make sure they get paid, man, because I know it's a salary cap, so you have to fit within the salary cap, but that shouldn't be the player's problem. $13 billion is what the league made last in one year. 400 million going to each team, and that's outside of what they made during the season, things like that. It's just extra on the top, 400 million. So when you got guys like a Dak Prescott, like a Jordan Love, like a Brandon Ayuk, these guys want to get paid, like a CD Lamb, Michael Parsons. They got to figure it out, man. It's not the players' job to go out, and figure out the salary cap. It's the team job to do that. They got to figure it out. Um, these guys deserve money, to to have that generational wealth for their families, and the much money that this league is making. They already trying to bring another um, you know, game in as well to just add more money. I mean, they play pretty much on every day of the week, probably except Tuesdays. So um, at some point in time, let these guys get what they're worth, right? That's what that's what they deserve. You got to fit in salary cap, and as us as fans shouldn't be looking at players when they're trying to get their money. It's up to the teams to try to figure it out. Like I said, if you can bring home 400 million, just dollars they just throw out at the end after all the money you make through the season, they need to figure out how to pay these guys and fit it within the salary cap. That's just how I got it, and maybe when the new CBA come back and renegotiate, change it up a little bit. But that's why the salary cap's still going up. That's why players um, values are still going up. We see where receivers are getting paid now. You see where the quarterbacks getting paid, the defensive tackles, defensive end. It seems like only positions that's getting screwed over a little bit is the running back position. But that that needs to get raised up too. Just look at what the average football players are getting paid. So um, I know for a fact that they need to figure it out. Just wanted to throw that out. I thought that was interesting when I heard that today. And um, give these guys their money, man. You know, they be first time generations. It's not like they got financial wealth from years and years and years. This is their first time, and they trying to create generational wealth for their family. So everybody ain't Tom Brady, can take pay cuts and crap like that. So it is what it is. So, in my opinion, let these guys get paid, and the franchise got to figure out. Us as fans be looking at guys, why you being greedy, whatever. Forget that. They can bring home $400 million at the end of the season after everything else. Forget that crap. Get these guys their money, man. So teams like the Cowboys, if they would have managed their books better, they should have paid Dak earlier, right? They should have paid him before they wait till he get in last year's contract. Now they screwed, right? They should have paid CD earlier. They should have paid Parsons. So teams like that, they get that freaking weight, and they got to pay out their 3 stars, and they figure it out. It is what it is. But when you bring home $400 million after freaking the the season is over, and that's just extra money you got in your check. Don't think about the sales they had all through the seasons, ticket sales, things like that, revenue sales, merchandise sales, concession stands, all that stuff they got, and then they get 400 on the back end, and then they don't want to pay these guys $60 million, a year, whatever, man. That's just me. So I would never take a pay cut if I one of these players. They need to figure it out. They worth it every penny. That's just my opinion. And any fan that's saying that that's BS, you just feed into the billionaires mindset. The value, right? You can say they're not worth that much, but the market value says that's what they're worth. That's what they're worth. It is what it is. So we got a couple of comments here. Eddie says it will only motivate the Falcons, and that's all. You talk about my coach. We're gonna find out. We're gonna have a conversation. Indeed, it feels good game. Most of these guys don't play a long time. NFL contracts aren't fully guaranteed 100%, especially when they say, usually NFL careers with 4 seasons. So you see the guys playing more than that. That's the anomaly. That's not the norm for guys. So you are 100% correct. Don't get fully guaranteed contracts. Most of the NFL careers are 4 seasons and things like that. So why would you not get all the money you can get? And then like some of these guys, insurance run out. I think you have to play 10 seasons to even get into the insurance. Um, don't quote me on that because I'm not 100% sure. That could be the NBA, but I know for a fact that you have to play a certain amount of time to get into the insurance and then get pensions and things like that. So get your money, man. 400. Think about it, guys. They got each team, 32 teams, got $400 million apiece. That's crazy. That's after the season, not during the season. That's like a bonus check after the season's over. You get 400 million. So, like, yeah, whatever, man. Uh, Eddie, whatever. Eddie, I tell you, man. EQ says, "Oh, here's Dallas fan." Yeah, yeah. You know that Dallas fans, man. I'm gonna tell you, they don't want to pay their quarterback. They don't want to pay him, right? But if that leaves, what they got, right? You got a guy that was second in the MVP voting last year, and doing Dak Prescott. Pay the man his money. It's a team sport, right? You don't. He's not. No, he's not Patrick. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not one of those guys, but he's a pretty good quarterback. They just put a good team around him. Call a good, better game. That defense got destroyed last year. Dak made mistakes, but it was the defense that let them down in that game. Uh, he said they can get insured prior to an NFL or season. Keep making excuses, man. Keep making excuses. We talking about a full contact sport. We talking about what what 200, 300, 400 like equivalent to car collisions in the season, man. Like these guys putting their life on the line, so that's what they do. We say Dak is not it. He can't win big games. The Cowboys can't win big games. It ain't that. Cowboys, the Cowboys. And I know you got to go back to go back and get a VCR and put the VCR tape in and try to find that '95 Super Bowl because that was the last time. Well, that's the last time you was in the NFC Championship as well. So we're not gonna get into the Cowboy debate. All right, because this is not a Dallas Cowboys channel, so we're not getting to that. But we can't talk about it on when we play the Cowboys this year when we beat the brakes off of them. So we can talk about that. All right, guys, let's get into the topic today. And like I said, Raheem Morris. So let's talk about this first. The importance of coaching in the NFL, right? So, you know, everybody look at the players, and the players get a lot of fault, especially the quarterbacks, right? Everybody talking like we just got Eddie on here talking about Dak Prescott, but coaching, the importance of coaching in the NFL is probably one of the biggest jobs out there, right? NFL coaches. I mean, especially head coaches. It is what it is, and most people don't realize the importance of it. And the biggest things that NFL, especially a head coach, is situational football. Situational football. First of all, it's the game plan, right? Um, and you can always look at a game, and if you know your football, like a lot of you guys are big football fans, and you can look at games and you can say, hey, he cannot coach, right? You be like, he cannot coach. They guys were prepared, they wasn't ready. Perfect example. It seems like Dan Quinn was not ready for the Green Bay Packers, right? In that game, right? We seen it a lot of times. We seen last year when we talked about Arthur Smith, like he was getting out coached, like he wasn't ready, right? The game plan wasn't right, like he didn't know what they was going to do. You go back to the Detroit Lions game when we played the Detroit Lions, and you know they was basically run blitzing on every play, right? Because they just determined that we're going to stop the Falcons run, and they ain't going to be able to pass, and that's pretty much what they did, right? They blitzed their safeties, they linebackers, they played real tight cover. They had 8 in the box, and I mean, and anybody would know that's what they was gonna do, right? It's like, okay, right? And then you talk about adjustments, right? So your game plan, your adjustments, situational football, and of course, when we talk about situational football, we talk about 2-minute offenses, 4-minute offenses. We talk about third downs, and we talk about the red zone. Those pretty much, and then in the end of the games, right? Those are your money downs. That's when coaching, in my opinion, is probably at its highest. Right now, definitely need great players. I'm not going to take anything with it. You need a great quarterback, especially if on the offensive side, you need a quarterback to be able to run that 2-minute offense that you're trying to run. Right. You need, on the defensive side, you need a good, you know, good Mike linebacker that's going to be the quarterback for the defense. Sometimes you might have a safety like a Ed Reed, that was, and if you had to go back to that 2000 Baltimore team, they had a great Mike linebacker and they had a great safety as well, right? So they had two guys, and then they had a guy in the middle, right, in Lolinata. So they had it up and down, right? Defensive line, you know, linebacker, and then they had safety. So they had it, and then had Suggs on the outside. So they had a great um and I don't know if Suggs there. Take that back. I'm talking because I'm thinking about another Baltimore team, but I'm going back to 2000 Baltimore. That team when it was really dominant. So when they probably gave up 10 points a game, right? Had Trent Difford as their quarterback, just really dominant, right? They knew the strength of the team. It was their defense. Defense say, just give us 13 points and you're gonna win the game. Pretty much. That's how they roll. But so situational football, you got captains on both sides, know how to run it. But that's what we're talking about, the importance of coaches. It's always about that, right? And then if we're going to just talk about the Falcons in general, right? We talk about the Falcons, right? We go back to the 2012 NFC Championship game, right? And the Falcons get up 17-0 in that game, right? Going into halftime, 17-0 going to halftime. What the 49ers do? They made adjustments. Jim Harbaugh, guy just coming back into the league, he make adjustments in halftime, come back, and it seems like Mike Smith, our head coach at the time, didn't counter those adjustments that was made. He just did not, right? And then they come back, they take the lead, and now the Atlanta Falcons still have opportunity to go down and win that game, right? And that goes back to the situational, right? Because we still had opportunity to win that game. Now I still think it was a pass interference, that was not called against Roddy White there. Maybe they called that play. We get the first down, we punch it in, and we go to the Super Bowl, and we're playing the Baltimore Ravens in 2012 like the San Francisco 49ers. But that did not happen. But that was a situation of football I was talking about. We dominated that first half. It was 17-0. They made adjustments. We didn't counter the adjustments that they made, and we came out and we lost that game, right? And we don't see it so many times with this Atlanta Falcons team, right? You go back to 2016, 2083. We know that they had to pass the ball. That's what they had to do to beat us, right? And Dan Quinn made no adjustments, right? They let the running back leak out the backfield. I think he had 13 receptions in that game, right? Tom Brady took what the defense gave him. No adjustment made by Dan Quinn, none whatsoever. You go back to the offense side of the ball, right? How do you win when you got a big lead like that? Situational football, you you run the clock out. That's what you do. You run the ball. You start to take the time off the clock. You right. If I'm a coach at that point, I'm not hiking the ball to 2 seconds every play. Let the play clock run down. Right, you got 40 seconds on the play clock. I'm not hiking the ball to 2 seconds left on the play clock every play. Right, take time. You got the game in hand. Right, the Falcons had a 99.9% chance to win that game. Right, going into the fourth quarter, 15 minutes left. Falcons up 28-3. Just unbelievable, man. That's coaching. I don't care what nobody says. It's coaching, situational football, and Kyle Shanahan and Dan Quinn, they lost the game for that team, right? Young team probably was a year too early. We had a lot of rookies on that defense. They played 93 defensive plays. They probably got gassed, but that's why you run the ball. You help out your defense, right? Complementary football. That did not happen. And these are some of the reasons why you talk about coaching, right? This is where coaching comes into play. Now, interesting enough, Raheem Morris was on that 2016 team, so he's seen it firsthand, right? Now he was the wide receiver coach. He was not, you know, defensive coordinator at the time. He was not offensive coordinator. He was the wide receiver coach. So he was on the other side of the ball. He was there with Julio and those guys, Mohamed Sanu, Taylor Gabriel. He was there with those guys. Um, but he's seen it firsthand, right? The mistakes that you can make. And that's why we're going to get into Raheem Morris, especially because he's seen, where you can make a mistake and where you can learn from bad situational football, right? Let's go to his interim season, right? When the Falcons started off 0-5, right? Let's go back to one game in particular, and I know you guys remember this. It's against the Dallas Cowboys. The Atlanta Falcons got the game won. Dallas Cowboys have to kick an onside. They take the Atlanta Falcons. Dallas Cowboys kick an onside kick, right? Atlanta Falcons just sit there and watch the ball spin. Watch the ball spin. Nobody jumps on the ball. Nobody jumps on the ball. Dallas Cowboys recover it. We all know the history. Atlanta Falcons win that. Dan Quinn fires. He fires the special teams coordinator after that game. Fires the special team coordinator after that game, right? That was bad coaching, bad situational football. Now we can blame that on the players. Everybody know 101, jump on the ball, right? On the ground, get on the ball, game over. Falcons go out with a win. But that didn't happen, right? Falcons start off 0-5. Raheem Morris takes over, and you start to see some tweaks and things like that. Atlanta Falcons did play better after he took over, but the situations where we lost that same season, and then we just gonna just go down this because it's just a terrible season for us guys. We got the lead. Matt Ryan tells Todd Gurley, "Don't score. We're gonna dine the ball within the 5 yard line. Don't score." Todd Gurley gets the ball. He tries not to go in the end zone, but he falls into the end zone. Scores a touchdown. 40-something second left on the clock. Detroit Lions come down. Matthew Stafford comes down, throws a touchdown, beat us. 43 seconds left with no timeout, right? So situation of football, just this just the misery of the Falcon fans. We all recall these games I'm talking about, so I don't want to bring up no old wounds here, but these are the things we're talking about. We talk about situational football and the importance of coaching because right now we hear that we can go back and hear Matt Ryan telling him don't score. Now he didn't try to score. I get it. I understand, but you're right. But this is situations, and that could be more in the players at that point. But that's where coaching comes into play, right? And situational football, we talking about red zone, we talking about in the games, we talking about special teams. That one game we lost. We talking about third downs, talking about field position. It's so much goes into it. That's why the game plan is there, right? We go to let's talk about Bill Belichick, right? And I know everybody remember this game. It was against the Baltimore Ravens, and he went into the NFL rule book where he kept bringing a lineman in, making him eligible, right? And it's a legal play, but nobody really used it that well. He decided to implement it in this game, and it kept hurting the Baltimore Ravens because it was something that they wasn't sure of the rule or whatever, right? I know you guys remember this, right? And they kept thought it was a penalty, whatever, but it was a legal play. Bill Belichick, just something that he decided to put in, you know, during this game because it's a playoff game. You want to try to take the team and throw them off something, right? Now, it was up to John Harbaugh to try to adjust to that, right? Because once he figure out what they're doing, got to try to make adjustments, call the right play to get him out of it. whatever reason, it didn't happen. But sometimes it's just one of those plays. That's why coaches call trick plays sometimes, because one time, one play in the game sometimes can win you the game. So, but that's what I'm talking about. Game plans, the brilliance of putting in plays and things like that. Some plays that teams ain't never seen, that a play that you haven't used all season, you're gonna throw it out. You go back to the Philadelphia Eagles when Nick Foles caught the touchdown. Out the backfield, they call it the Philly special. That play, they probably had been practicing that play all season long, right? Let's throw it out in the Super Bowl, the Philly special. And hey, they won the Super Bowl. They beat the New England Patriots in that game. So that's what I mean about coaching, guys. It's just that's what I'm thinking about when I'm talking about the importance of coaching. I'm talking about situational football and things like that. That's is where we start to get into the importance of it, and why it haven't been a lot of 10-year coaches in this league. That's why the what they call it Black Monday, right? After the last day of the season, a lot of coaches get let go because they just don't have what it takes to get the job done, right? And sometimes players let coaches down. 100% against that. And you always hear about the coach lost the locker room and things like that. That happens. But at the end of the day, you the head of the snake, you the coach. Of course, along with the quarterback is gonna get all the blame, and most of the time, that's where it comes with. All right, let's get to some of these comments before we get to my next point here. Eddie said he in trouble with Trey Lance, a guy who has never played before, pretty much. So you want to get the rings to Trey Lance. Didn't play a lot in college. I haven't played a lot in pros. So you don't know what you got in Trey Lance. That would be a gamble, in my opinion. Kurt coaching on the field will help the young receivers pin its development. Raheem will help out the defense in better positions for the future. Coaching will be a big difference this year. We definitely going to talk about what's going on. McTown Dirty. Eddie said the Bucks is winning the division. Facts. We can bet on that. Just let me know how much you want to bet. Philly will use Dallas. Like, yeah. Philly's gonna be the brakes off Dallas. Matter of fact, I think Dallas might be third in the division this year, behind the Commanders as well. I think Dan Quinn gonna come out for some revenge. It sounds like you're a wrong Bird fan. Drop down and get the Eagles. Okay, yeah, whatever. Yeah. He on the wrong show, man. He's on the wrong show, 100%. Yeah, he on the wrong show. He's a Cowboy fan, guys. If everybody want to know who Eddie Williams is, he's a Cowboy fan. You know, almost 30 years of misery. You know, every year they're gonna win it all. He's one of those guys. Okay, sitting on the bench watching help is ready. Okay, you talking about? You don't compare Jordan Love to Trey Lance, please. Don't do that. Jordan Love had more college reps than Trey Lance did. Trey Lance had one season in college, man. It's like, and then did he even have a season in the pros? Like, we don't know what to expect get out of Trey Lance. We just don't know. And they got Super Bowls. Man, they still living. But how long y'all gonna live off those 5 Super Bowls from 3 decades ago? Let it go. Let those Super Bowls go. Let those Super Bowls. Don't mean anything. Prototype. Okay. All right. So one of the things we always hear, guys, right? We always hear, and it's a cliche thing, right? We hear players coach, right? And a lot of people say, "What does that mean?" Right? Right? It's just a term thrown around, and and he's a good player coach, and a lot of people got a lot of different meanings about it. Some people say he's a good communicator. He understands where we're going. A lot of people say, well, he played in the league, so he understand when he telling me that this needs to happen this way, right? And things like that. Um, so it's not really like a complete definition of it because everybody got their own mindset when it comes to what they think a player coach is. Um, and some players don't like player coaches, right? Because they like, well, he too friendly, he ain't stern enough, he ain't serious. Like, I don't think nobody would, consider a guy like Bill Belichick a player's coach, right? Because no fun. They call him no fun, guy. He's always serious and things like that. And it's effective, right? It's really effective, right? Then you got somebody like Mike Tomlin, like a lot of people say he is a player coach, right? And guy who has never had a losing season in the NFL his whole coaching career. One Super Bowl, always in contention. They always get to the tournament most of the time. They try to compete for a Super Bowl. That's what you want to do, get to the playoffs, right? So you got a guy, different spectrum. You got a guy like Andy Reid, right? Um, Brilliant X and O's guy. A lot of people look at him, as a player's coach. You got the young Sean McVay, young guy. Look at him as a player coach. So I think I don't think it's one way. A guy can go out and lead his team. It's not one way to do it. It's not. You have to be that stern like a Bill Belichick, or you can be like a Mike Tomlin, who all the players love and adore, and they want to play for a guy like that, right? Right. Then you got a guy like Andy Reid, who's they call him a genius. The way he dial up plays. He let his players, go out and do their things, right? Kind of let the leash off of them a little bit. Let Patrick Mahomes be Patrick Mahomes, right? So you kind of like those different flavors of coaches, right? Well, where does Raheem Morris fall into this, right? And he has a little bit of that Raheem Morris. I mean, Mike Tomlin in him. But I think the biggest thing for me, where I look at Raheem Morris and why I call him is a player coach is he's authentic and he's gonna tell you how it is, right? And no bullshit. Like, and I think a lot of players, and I know a lot of you guys play sports. Sometime, if you play collegiate or you played in high school, whenever you play football, you like coaches that's going to be real with you, right? Don't like that you don't like fake people. You don't like the fakeness of stuff. You want coaches going to give you the 100, right? And I think that's where Raheem Morris relate to his players, right? Um, you go back and look at an interview. I think it was on the Pivot with Ryan Clark, and Ryan Clark walks in there, and Raheem Morris looking at film, and he just straight up tell him, you played like shit. What the hell you was doing on this play, right? That's what players want to hear, right? They don't want the bull crap. They don't want the bull jive. You need to play better here. You need to try hard. No, you play like shit, man. That's what they want to hear. They want to hear the truth. They want some authenticity, right? And once you get that, right, I think that's how, because most players want you to be real with them and give, hey, when you coming in here, you're gonna compete, right? You're not going to get this position because you get paid the most, right? You got to compete, you got to earn it, right? And if you're playing like crap, you might have to sit down. That's what you get. That's what kind of coach I think Raheem Morris is, right? We already know he's positive as hell, um, energetic. He's gonna bring in that energy every day. Um, the belief, and I think that's under understated on a lot of teams, right? You don't believe, right? And he came right off the bat. And the question is, if everybody watched the video, why not us, right? Why not us, right? You talk about NFC South. That's the easiest way to get into the tournament, get into the playoffs. Is why we can't win it? Why can't we not win NFC South? And And I think for the most part, I think that's what Raheem Morris is going to bring to this team, right? The impact that he's going to bring, right? You already seen it. The energy is just completely different than it was, last season. We know last season. Now go back this time last season, and for most Falcon fans, we was all excited, right? We had just got out of salary cap hell. We just added all those players on defense, right? We had a great draft. We had great weapons. Still had a top 5 offensive line, right? The only question was what Desmond Ridder was going to be able to do. But we all assumed that, Coach Smith was going to put him in positions to be successful, right? That's what we all thought, right? So this time last year, I don't think it was anybody being negative and being worried, right? We believe that, we had a 10-17, 11-16, in that locker room last year in 2023. That's what we all thought, right? However, we unfortunately we see how it turned out. The decision to go with Desmond Ridder and Taylor Heineke was not the right decision. And just like Raheem Morris, better quarterback play, he probably won't even be here right now. That's just the honest truth, right? Because the team was in contention and the quarterback play was below average. It's no other way to sugarcoat it. It was. And the coaching, the one thing that Arthur Smith was brought in to do, right? And what I mean by that, his offensive, you know, brilliance that he utilized when he was with Tennessee, the reason why he got the head coaching job in the first place, right? And you don't want to look away from what Arthur Smith did in Tennessee, right? The 2 seasons he was offensive coordinator there, they had a number 1 and a number 2 offense those years back to back, right? That's what Arthur Smith was able to do. Now he had a big dude in the backfield and King Henry, right? Derrick Henry to run the ball. But at the end of the day, right, that's why Arthur Smith got the job, right? So one thing that you kind of factor in that you assume, right, that learning on the job, one thing that we wouldn't have to worry about, and that was just being able to perform on offense. And that did not happen. So we'll go back to the importance of coaching. My first point, where you look at a guy like Arthur Smith, the X's and O's, the situational football, the game planning, right, the red zone. That's where he failed. That's where he failed. Well, the first thing he failed was he picked Desmond Ridder to be his quarterback. The second thing he failed was he couldn't get the best out of his players, right, to perform at the level they need to perform to get us over the hump, right? 19 points a game was not going to get it done, right? When your defense hold teams to 20 points a game. So, we score 24 points a game, score 21 points a game, we win more games, right? When the defense is holding teams to 20 points a game. So that's where he failed. That's where Arthur Smith failed. Now, the question is, so how will Raheem Morris be any different from that? Well, first of all, Raheem Morris decided that the one thing that he did well was, he was a defensive coordinator, won a Super Bowl as a defensive coordinator, right? With the Los Angeles Rams. We all know that. We've seen it, right? We saw what he was able to do last year with a young up and coming Rams defense, right? They did still had AD there, Aaron Donald. Not gonna deny that. But if you look at the other pieces that he had around Aaron Donald, it was a lot of young guys, and the way he was able to get those guys to perform, motivate those guys, put those guys in position to get back to the playoffs with that young defense is just really, really amazing. Reason why he probably got the job. But what Raheem Morris decided to do, instead of being just that defensive coach that usually head coaches come in, they're going to, stay in their comfort zone. They're going to come in, they're going to call the defense, going to leave everything to the offensive coordinator and let them do that. He decided to be the CEO of the Atlanta Falcons team. And this is why I think his biggest impact is going to make dividends for a guy like Raheem Morris, because the reason he decided to be over the entire team and be the CEO, where he brought in offensive coordinator and Zach Robinson, which chooses a first time coordinator. We're not going to deny that, right? And then he brought in Jimmy Lake, who's a first time defensive coordinator in the NFL. Now, Jimmy Lake has been a defensive coordinator, has been a head coach in the college ranks, but he's never been called defensive plays, right? So, but it's fine because we all know that we do have a Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator on our staff who's our head coach, right? So he can assist with that. We also have a guy that we talked about that was on the offensive side of the ball in 2016, right? Remember, I said he was a receivers coach in 2016 in that Super Bowl. So he has had experience on both sides of the ball. Take all that experience along with the experience way back when they won the Super Bowl in Tampa, right? When he was a young defensive back assistant, right? When they had that vaunted Tampa 2 there, right? Bring all that experience, bring that in and be the CEO of this Atlanta Falcons um, team this time. Be able to assist on offense, be able to assist on defense, be authentic, be able to galvanize the troops, be able to motivate everybody. And I believe that's the reason why Raheem Morris is going to have an opportunity to achieve this time in 2024, where he was not able to do, 13 years ago when he was the head coach of Tampa the first time. Right. First of all, he was young. We all know that situation. You go back and look. That's right after the Super Bowl, right after John Gruden get left, bringing a young rookie quarterback. And he said it himself. He focused just on the defense, right? He let offense run the offense. He just focused on because he stayed in his comfort zone, right? That's experience. That's learning. Well, I can't do that this time. I can't just worry about the defense. I'm gonna let Jimmy Lake worry defense, but I'm gonna be able to oversee what he's doing and help him game plan and be able to make those adjustments at halftime and be able to call the right things during the situation of football in the third downs, in the 2 minute offense, in the 4 minute drives, right? Those are the things that he can be able to do from an overview from that CEO position, where he can help Zach Robinson be able to call the right plays when you got a 25-point lead, right? And you just need to run the clock out. Things like that. So that's where I think Raheem Morris is going to, bring dividends to this team this year, because he's going to be the overseer of the whole team, and it's going to be because of his experience, right? Times where you failed, first time as a head coach, where you failed when you was, position coach with the Atlanta Falcons 2016, right? Winning the Super Bowl with the Los Angeles Rams, then coming back the next season and not having a good season, but then the following season bounce back to get the Rams right back in the Super Bowl. Back in the playoffs with a young defensive squad. So these are the things that I know everybody don't heard before, but I believe these are the reasons why Raheem Morris is going to be successful. I believe this is the impact he's going to bring in. And yes, I do believe that Atlanta Falcons have a chance to be one of those sleeping giants out there, right? Nobody believes in them. Yes, we got a new offensive coordinator, we got a new defensive coordinator, we got a new head coach, but you bringing in a guy like Kirk Cousins who knows the scheme, right? He been in the scheme his entire career, right? So he's going to be able to help Zach Robinson out. He's going to be able to help those young receivers out, right? We do have a great offensive line that's going to be able to benefit from having a quarterback with experience this time, like a Kirk Cousins, right? I believe a guy like Kyle Pitts, a guy like Drake London is going to be able to have some breakout years. I think Bijan and Tyler are going to be able to be dominant, running the ball out the backfield. And I believe Raheem Morris, the head coach, is going to be the catalyst for us all. So that's why I think his importance, I think his impact, I think all of it is going to be really, really good for the Atlanta Falcons this year, 2024. And yes, go back to it, and you guys can go back and look at my when the coaching search was on. My guy was Bill Belichick, right? Um, because I wanted to bring in that difference, right? And like I said, it's more than one way. Skin a cat. I wanted to bring in the serious guy, the guy with the experience and things like that. But I'm 100% um, really believing that the Atlanta Falcons made the right decision bringing in a guy like Raheem Morris. So, with that being said, his impact should, and I really believe that's going to get Atlanta Falcons into the playoffs this year. Right? I really believe that. I think they have all the pieces there. We definitely gonna get into you know more players, what players got to do, what defense got to step up, things like that. Once training camp gets started, but just looking at the man himself coming in, being that CEO, I think it's going to bring dividends to this team. We already seen it from the outside looking in. You can hear it from the players, you can hear it from the staff. Um, you can see it from the videos, the little videos we see, the confidence that this team is displaying so far. Every team does that. I know it. Right, it's the off season, so every team believes they're going to have an opportunity to do something special. But this Atlanta Falcon team, I believe, is a sleeping giant. I just they have the pieces. They've been building right since 2021. They've been putting these pieces, pieces to the puzzle together. They're here. They just needed a guy that's going to be able to distribute the ball, and a guy like Kirk Cousins. They need a guy like Raheem Morris that's going to be able to get these guys to believe and show what they're made of. And I think now is the time. I think this is the spot right now. And I think the Atlanta Falcons going to go out and do some great things this year. So guys, let me know what you think about Raheem Morris. Let me know your impact, what you believe that he's going to be able to bring to the table. Um, he's not a puppet like Mike McCarthy. Just had to throw that in there, right? Somebody that I don't know what he even does. I think Dan Quinn leaving is going to be a big hit for that team. But I think the Atlanta Falcons got it right, and I think Raheem Morris is that guy. I think he's going to be able to do the good thing, um, and we just see it all work. Still some question marks that we definitely going to get into during this off season. Definitely going to talk about that. I still haven't gave my predictions yet for the seasons. I want to wait off on that. But guys, 19 days. 19 days. That's where we're at. And once we get there, ain't no stopping us. It's time to get it kicking, get it started. So that's all I got today, guys. Thank you for tuning in. EQ says, I agree with everything you say. Hope the team can play together. Yeah, man. I can't wait. It's just exciting, man. I think they can do it, man. Like we was happy last year, so I don't want to be fooled again because last year this time we was showing this positive, but I can honestly say I'm really more confident because we got a veteran quarterback, and I do believe that you can't win in this league without an experienced veteran quarterback. And I believe Kirk Cousins is the perfect quarterback at this point in time for this offense, for this team, because this is what they need. So as long as he's healthy, I think we're gonna be able to do the damn thing. And so thanks for that, EQ. Let's go. I can't wait, man. Let's get it kicked off. That's all I have. This is your boy Ricondo coming back at you with another video. Peace.